Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another Vanguard Zombies video. As you can see on the screen, I've been putting this message in front of a couple videos that I've made so far, some Easter egg solve videos. So if you're not, or if you don't want to be spoiled of what's coming maybe in Vanguard, if you want to see it happen or solve the Easter eggs for yourself, it's not any leaked information or any fake leak information or like pretending I know people that work at Call of Duty and this is definitely what's coming. It's just stuff that I solve on my own, and it can potentially ruin the story for you because, like I mentioned before in the past, if you go back and look at the way Treyarch and Call of Duty did Easter eggs, everything was laid out in front of us, and then when we get to the final DLC or the final map or the next game, it's going to be a culmination of all that stuff that we had before. So it's the same thing. So it's looking ahead at potentially what can come and what might be spoiled for you. Because if you're even like a movie, if you watch a movie, you watch the first half hour of the movie or 15 minutes of the movie, sometimes the director gives the answers away for the end. And if you're smart enough, you're going to be able to figure it out on your own. Or on the other hand, it could just be little side Easter eggs, little throwbacks to the old maps, the old Ether story, and it could potentially not have any connection at all. But with that being said, I've done this before for a couple years now, and I've always said that I make these videos for the devs, Treyarch, Call of Duty, not necessarily for um, the zombie YouTubers or the zombies community. But I kind of make it for the zombies community. That's kind of like the in between. Like it's if you were to say I definitely don't make it for the zombie YouTubers, I definitely make it for the devs and Treyarch, and then I kind of in the middle make it for the zombies community because you're gonna have people in the zombies community who are gonna search this stuff and want to figure it out on their own. They're gonna be very ambitious and Google or YouTube search stuff and try and figure out what stuff means. And those are the people I make it for. And then on the other hand, in the zombies community, you're a mixture of people that just are trolls and just kind of hate on everything, like the toxic zombie YouTubers that Treyarch and Call of Duty does. So it's kind of like an in-between. So mainly, like I said, it's for the devs. Mainly, it's not for the zombie YouTubers that are toxic. And then in the middle, it's kind of like the zombies community. So again, some of this you might have seen before in other videos, and some of it is new. I kind of want to expand on some ideas and stuff like that. So what I had solved is if you unscramble Kortifex's name, it spells out Richtofen. They look exactly the same. They both have the bullet mark on their forehead, and it looks like it's a throwback to the Nuketown loading screen and the Mexican Lord of the Dead or whatever I guess I'll call it, or the god of the undead, kind of like the Greek Hades version of the undead. So that was a cool solve, and like I said, it could just end there. It could be like, hey, we're gonna make him look like Richtofen from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, and have a little bit of an Easter egg with it. You can kind of see the comparison. On the other hand, the reason I'm including Jimmy Zielinski, it looks like, again, it ties into Jimmy Zielinski's old Nuketown loading screen story. And there were rumors, especially during Black Ops 4, that people were split down the middle at the studio. People that started with Jimmy Zielinski and was always there with Jimmy Zielinski weren't really on board with the Jason Blundell stuff. So maybe since Jason Blundell is gone now and it's a whole nother studio anyways, like Sledgehammer, maybe they're going back and tying up loose ends for those Jimmy Zielinski Easter eggs that never got some answer. And the reason I say I do this for the devs is because this is the stuff that I love, like the hardcore Easter egg solvers, the hardcore players, not the casual toxic zombie YouTubers that come make one video or they regurgitate the same video over and over for the last like 10 years. This is for the hardcore Easter egg solvers that want answers and love answers and that want something from back then to have some meaning, that it wasn't just a silly little loading screen or Easter egg that like, and I know it gets busy and I know they don't like themselves like copying or redoing the same work over and over, that enough time has passed that, hey, let's go back now and go touch on that Richtofen, the giant Easter egg. Let's go back and give some answers for people that have stuck with us since then. I think that's really cool because if you see the way Kortifex and Richtofen looks is exactly the same. They both have the bullet mark in the forehead, and then the Richtofen. But this is just some more backstory. This isn't the actual Saw, because I already talked about this probably like a month ago, a couple weeks. And the main thing you want to kind of take from this is, I don't want to butcher his name, Mikalantakuli, I guess is the best way to pronounce it. And the bubblegum from, the Nuketown loading screen has him on there, and his name is sort of what's spelled out. The names are kind of unscrambled of each other, anagrams, I guess, of each other, and exactly the same. So that was a little bit of context if you missed some of the videos that I made. But it actually ties into a cipher, and you can find it on this website, just to give them credit. They have all the ciphers there. You can kind of go through all the history of the ciphers, I guess leading up to Black Ops 4, because there's none of that in Cold War, and there's none of that in Vanguard. This is all everything up to Black Ops 4. You can see all the ciphers, and one of the ciphers is this one on Shadows of Evil, and it says M is interested in these worthless beings. All his work will be undone. X. So that automatically now gives us an answer who M could be and who X could be, because the other thing is, the way Monty's name was thrown into Shadows of Evil and Black Ops 3 fits no like pop culture reference, I don't think. I mean, it has some other meaning which I'm not going to get into, but as far as the name Monty, as far as I know, doesn't have any reference to anything. That's why it seems so random back then. Like, this guy Monty just showed up, or it could be like a play on words from maybe Mephistopheles and stuff like that. That could be another one. But the way that whoever is doing the Vanguard Easter eggs, it now gives us a direct answer that it could be meaning this guy, Mikalantakuli, and the X could be the whole X for Kortifex and Richtofen. So it could be that, I mean, this is the person himself, and this could be his like demonic version of himself, how he kind of somehow got possessed, or how, I mean, there was a backstory to it, and I probably should have remembered it, but basically something with his dad and him, and he got banished, I think, to the underworld and stuff like that. So there is a Mexican story that goes with this. But I mean, for me, it could be just a coincidence, but M could be meaning him, and X could be meaning like Kortifex or the Richtofen X version, whatever. So it could be that they ran out of time in Black Ops 3. Again, it more looks like to me that it was a Jimmy Zielinski Easter egg that they maybe just threw this side. They wanted to tie in Mob of the Dead, wanted to flesh out that lore, have more of the campaign zombies team take over, and maybe now that, like I said, maybe that Jimmy Zielinski is gone, that maybe they're gonna go back now and say, hey, let's go finish Jimmy's story with the Mexican, overlord, and the X could mean now. I mean, that has to have been planned out. Like, who up until this point, who could X have meant in the storyline? There's actually no. Oh, that's Mephistopheles from before. Like I said, I kind of am trying to expand on this Easter egg solve and trying to figure out where they're going with it. Like I said, it could be a lot of spoils and stuff like that. So for this, again, it could be M could be referring to this guy who Richtofen is now, and even with, I know it ended up being Ravenov, but even with the Cold War letter, ended up being Ravenov, but people thought it was Richtofen at the time. It could be, referencing something else, but when you have initials, it's a cool way for them to go back and kind of like, hey, we can add another layer to it. But at the time, people thought it was Richtofen, and ended up being Ravenov. Now you go back and look at this cipher. M could be Monty. It could be, Mephistopheles. It could be, the Mexican overlord. And X could be, now could be Kortifex. It could be the Richtofen character, and it's pretty cool. So, if it is you know, if it is this guy tying to Richtofen, um, it's gonna be kind of cool to see down the road how is all his work's gonna be undone. What work was he doing? At the time, it could have meant Monty. Or I think personally, like I said, I think Jason Blundell just kind of like, hey, let's scrap this idea, put it on hold. Let's create my own character now. This guy Monty, who's been helping us along the way. Where this version of it, it's an overlord that we have to fight and stuff like that. So it could have been something in Black Ops 3 that was supposed to happen in not Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, because it could have been like, hey, the Nuketown loading screen is going to hint to DLC 4. Maybe he was supposed to be in Origins, but Jimmy Zielinski lost lost the rights to Origins, and James Blundell took over for Origins. It could have been somebody that was going to be saved for Buried, but maybe that got changed, and then they're like, hey, now that Jimmy is gone and Jason's gone, remember that character we wanted to do in maybe Origins, or maybe we wanted to do in Buried, but they want to go with Jason's story. Let's bring him back. Let's tie him into the story, because Nuketown was literally the first map of Black Ops 2. You would think this character would have been saved for a later DLC in Black Ops 2. I mean, that's kind of my idea, that it definitely looks like it was something that was probably scrapped in the past. Anyways, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys later.